Okay, so you want to be a musical conductor. Like, really, truly picture yourself up on that podium, leading an orchestra, not just humming along to Beethoven in the car.
It's a big goal. It's more than just, looking fancy and waving your arms around.
Way more.
Yeah.
And luckily for anyone with this ambition, we've got RoleCatcher's guides for aspiring conductors to help us unpack everything.
Yeah, these guides go way beyond the basics. It's not just about knowing the music, it's leadership, communication, even psychology. You gotta inspire those musicians.
Right. The source material was super clear. This is not just about waving a baton. It's about leadership, deep musical knowledge, communication, even psychology to get those musicians playing their absolute best. It's wild.
Yeah, it's a fascinating blend of skills, and those subtler skills, the ones you might not think of right away. That's what a lot of these interview questions are trying to get at.
Totally. So let's dive right into those interview questions. First one up. What inspired you to become a musical conductor? Kind of a classic, but I bet there are better and worse ways to answer.
Oh, 100%. This question is your chance to show off your passion. Don't just say, I like music, or give some general answer. This is your moment to tell a story, a specific moment that made you want to be a conductor.
Like my aha moment.
Exactly. Think back. Was there a specific concert? Or maybe a piece of music? Maybe even a mentor who really sparked something in you? Share that. The more specific and personal your story is, the more genuine you'll sound, the more your passion will show through.
Okay, so say my big inspiration was seeing this amazing conductor lead a youth orchestra when I was in high school. Is that specific enough, or should I try to go even deeper?
Go deeper for sure. What was it about that conductor, that performance that really stuck with you? Did you see their passion and feel it ignite something in you too? Did the way they interpreted the music open up something new for you?
So it's about the emotional impact, not just the fact.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. All right, question 2 on the list. How do you prepare for a performance?
This one feels a bit more technical. Yeah, you're right. It's definitely about the technical side of being a conductor. But just as much, it's a chance to show off your organizational skills and your deep understanding of music. Don't just say, I practice a lot. Talk about how you break down a score. Analyze all the little nuances and plan your rehearsals in a way that will bring out the best of the music and the musicians too.
When you say analyze the nuances, what does that actually mean for a conductor? What are you looking for in the music?
It's more than just the notes on the page, right? It's about really getting inside the composer's head, understanding their intentions, the emotional arc of the piece, all the subtle shifts in dynamics and tempo that make the music come alive.
So you're like a musical detective in a way.
100%. A good conductor is a storyteller, and the way you interpret the music, your unique analysis, that's what makes a performance stand out.
Speaking of standing out, this next question is a juicy one. How do you handle difficult musicians or challenging situations during a performance? Because, let's be real, every orchestra has its personalities, right?
Totally. This question is all about your leadership. Can you stay calm under pressure? Do you have strong communication skills? Can you resolve conflicts without, drama? Can you make sure the performance is a success no matter what curveballs come your way? That's what they want to know.
So instead of getting stuck on the difficult part, it's about how you, as a leader, find solutions. A good example would be a time you had to, mediate a disagreement between musicians, or maybe navigate a last-minute change during a performance.
Exactly. Having a good example or two ready is key. It shows you can handle the unexpected and you've got the skills to keep things running smoothly.
It sounds like those stressful moments actually make for great interview material.
Ah.
Okay, next up, we've got, how do you balance your artistic vision with the expectations of the audience and stakeholders? Yeah, that sounds like a tough one.
It is a balancing act. This is where your communication skills and your ability to be diplomatic really come in handy. You got to prove that you can listen to and respect the needs of everyone involved, the audience, the musicians, the organization itself, but without compromising your own artistic integrity.
It's like finding that sweet spot where everyone feels heard and respected. But what if your vision for a piece totally clashes with what other people want? How do you handle that kind of disagreement?
Honestly, open communication and a willingness to work together are essential. Be ready to share a specific example of how you handled that kind of situation in the past. Did you find a compromise? Did you respectfully explain your point of view? Did you remain open to feedback? They want to see that you can navigate different perspectives professionally.
So it really is like conducting a conversation, not just an orchestra.
Yes.
All this talk about examples, it makes me think, Does RoleCatcher have any tips on how to explain those examples in a way that really lands?
They do. They're big on something called the STAR method. Basically, you lay out the situation, task, action, and result of whatever example you're giving.
Kind of like you're giving the interviewers a mini case study.
Exactly. It just helps you tell the story in a clear and concise way, so it has more impact.
Love it. Okay, moving on to question 5 on the list. How do you motivate and inspire musicians? This goes back to that touch of psychology we were talking about earlier, doesn't it?
It totally does. To really motivate your musicians, you have to get what makes them tick, what drives them to deliver their best work. It's about so much more than just keeping time, you know? You want to create an atmosphere where those musicians feel valued, supported, and challenged.
So less about being a drill sergeant and more about nurturing their love for the music and creating this shared purpose.
100%. Don't be afraid to get a little personal with this answer. Talk about your approach to building relationships with the musicians, the way you give feedback, and how you foster a positive and collaborative environment.
I bet a really strong example here would be a time when you helped a musician overcome a technical challenge, or maybe even push them to a new level musically. Like maybe you helped them connect to the emotion behind a piece, and it totally transformed their performance.
Yeah, that's a great example. Those are the stories that really demonstrate your leadership and your ability to connect with people on a personal and artistic level.
Yeah, that's powerful. Okay, next question. How do you stay up to date with new music and conducting techniques? It seems like a no-brainer for any artistic field, but especially one as dynamic as music.
It's essential, for sure. The world of music is always evolving new composers, new techniques, new schools of thought. This question is all about showing that you're passionate about constantly learning and pushing your own artistic boundaries. So think about it. Do you attend workshops? Do you read industry publications? Do you have mentors you can learn from?
What about personal projects or independent study? Like if I were to say, well, I've been really into researching Baroque music lately, or I've been exploring this new conducting technique in my spare time, would those examples fly?
Absolutely. Those are great examples. They show initiative, a genuine thirst for knowledge. They also give you a chance to share some unique things about yourself. What makes you tick?
Okay, good to know. On to a question that requires a little bit of finesse. How do you handle mistakes during a performance? Because let's be honest, they happen. Even the most experienced musicians and conductors make mistakes sometimes.
So true. This one isn't about being perfect. It's about demonstrating grace under pressure. They want to see that you can maintain your composure when things go wrong, that you can keep the performance on track and preserve the integrity of the music.
So they're looking for someone who can think on their feet, someone who doesn't freeze up or, worse, completely lose it when a mistake happens. What's a good example that shows those skills?
A perfect example would be describing a time when maybe a musician missed their entrance, or there was some kind of technical issue, and you had to quickly but subtly get things back on track without letting it derail the whole performance.
Makes sense. Turning a stressful moment into a success story.
Exactly. Focus on your problem-solving skills and your commitment to the overall success of the performance.
All right, moving on. Question 8. How do you work with soloists and guest performers? That seems like it adds a whole other layer of complexity to the job.
It does. You've got this guest artist with their own unique voice and interpretation, and your job is to find a way to make that blend seamlessly with the orchestra's sound. It's all about collaboration, sensitivity, and respect for the soloist's artistry, while still making sure everything comes together cohesively.
Communication is key here, right? Making sure everyone is on the same page musically. What are some things I should highlight in my answer to show I'm a good collaborator?
Definitely emphasize your ability to communicate clearly and openly, to really listen to the soloist's perspective, and to find solutions that respect both their interpretation and the composer's original intentions. You're essentially conducting a conversation between the soloist and the orchestra.
Have you ever had an experience where, as a conductor, your vision for a piece clashed with a soloist's interpretation? How did you work through that?
Oh, it's definitely happened. I remember one time I was working with a soloist who had a very different tempo in mind for a particular piece. It was a tricky situation, but we took the time to really talk through our interpretations, and you know what? We found common ground. The performance ended up being even more powerful because of that collaboration.
Wow, what a great example of turning a potential conflict into something really special.
Exactly. It's about being open to different ideas, you know? You're there to facilitate the creative process, not to dictate every single thing.
I like that. Okay, so moving on to question number 9. How do you ensure that your performances are accessible and diverse? This feels like a really important one, especially these days.
It's absolutely crucial. And it goes beyond just the music you choose. It's about showing a genuine commitment to making classical music relevant and welcoming for everyone.
So it's not just about programming diverse composers, it's about reaching out to diverse audiences as well.
Exactly. Have you been involved in educational outreach programs? Have you collaborated with community organizations? Have you worked on making ticket prices more accessible? These are the kinds of things that show you're not just talking about diversity, you're actively working to make it happen.
It's about breaking down those barriers that sometimes make classical music feel, well, kind of intimidating or exclusive.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get specific.
Yeah.
Did you curate a concert that showcased composers from underrepresented backgrounds? Did you partner with schools and underserved communities to bring kids to the orchestra? Those details make all the difference.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
100%.
Okay, last but not least, question 10. How do you manage your time and workload as a musical conductor? Because it can't all be fancy concert halls and standing ovations, right?
No way. It's a demanding job for sure. You've got rehearsals, performances, travel, scores to study, musicians to manage. It's a lot to juggle.
So how do you wrangle it all? What's your secret?
Honestly, organization and time management are key. Be ready to share your strategies for staying on top of everything. How do you prioritize your tasks? Do you delegate effectively? How do you stay focused when you've got a million things going on?
Do you think it would be helpful to mention specific tools or techniques you use, like if you swear by a particular planner or project management system?
Absolutely. That shows you're proactive and you've got systems in place. Remember, being a conductor is about leadership, and that includes leading yourself effectively.
And speaking of tools and resources that can help you succeed, can we just take a moment to appreciate RoleCatcher and their incredible AI-powered tools for interview prep? I'm still blown away by how their platform can help you tailor your answers for specific job roles. It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
Right. It's a game changer. Imagine this. You're applying for a conductor position with a symphony orchestra that's known for performing a lot of contemporary music. So you take that job description, you plug it into RoleCatcher, and their AI goes to work. It analyzes the language, picks out those keywords related to modern music and innovative programming, and then it suggests ways for you to weave those themes into your answers.
So you're basically speaking their language right from the start.
Exactly. It's about showing them that you're not just a talented conductor, but that you're the right conductor for their orchestra. And don't forget about their AI-powered feedback on your practice answers. It's like having a virtual mock interview with personalized advice on how you're delivering your answers, the content, even your body language.
It's amazing how technology is changing the game for job seekers. You don't have to just practice your answers alone in your living room and hope for the best anymore. You've got this AI coach right there in your pocket, helping you every step of the way.
It's like having a whole team of career experts on call 24/7.
Well, there you have it, our deep dive into the world of conducting. We've explored not only the technical skills and the artistry involved, but also the leadership, the communication, the time management. It takes a lot to be successful in this field. And of course, we learned how RoleCatcher can be an invaluable resource for anyone navigating the sometimes scary world of job applications and interviews.
It's all about preparation, right? And passion, of course.
Absolutely. Conducting is about so much more than just waving your arms. It's about inspiring those musicians, connecting with your audience, and really bringing the power of music to life. It's challenging for sure, but also incredibly rewarding for those who love it. And who knows? Maybe with a little help from our friends at RoleCatcher, some of you listening out there will be stepping onto that podium yourselves one day, baton in hand, ready to share your gift with the world.
That's what we love to hear.
This has been The Deep Dive, signing off until next time. Keep those dreams big, and we'll see you on the next one.